Hello, fellow miners. Thanks for watching our video series about how to get the most out of Prohashing. In this video, we'll be reviewing some of Prohashing's most advanced payout features. We'll start off with a little bit about coin errors and backup coins and how that affects your payout proportions. We'll describe how networks charge transaction fees and how to avoid them. Coinbase payouts, which we'll cover, is one way that you can avoid transaction fees. You may want to forfeit a balance at a specific time, and we'll cover balance forfeitures briefly. We'll talk about how Prohashing allows you to support charities and tips so that you can donate money to some great causes and also give a tip to one of the employees who you think is doing a great job improving the pool. Portfolio targeting is a great feature that Prohashing supports uniquely, and you're going to like how it allows you to get the best deals on coins. And finally, we'll tie it all together with the payout activity chart that shows how all of this stuff that we're reviewing today is executed by the system. Let's get started. In case you don't know how to access the payouts page, I've already logged into an account and clicked on the menu button and then payouts, and that will bring this screen up. This account has 100% of its payouts currently being allocated to Bitcoins, and Litecoins are added with 0. I'll explain why that is later. Let's say that we want to add a new payout option to this account, and we want to add Ethereum as a payout option. So let's do that by clicking on Ethereum. I'll need to enter a payout address for Ethereum immediately, because you may recall from other videos that Prohashing requires customers to enter payout addresses so that we can get money out of our hands as quickly as possible for security reasons. I'll enter this random payout address that I found, and then I'll click Save to save this Ethereum address. Now, we currently have two payouts listed, but Ethereum has a 0% payout proportion. So let's change that. We're going to make half of our payouts be credited in Bitcoins and half of our earnings be credited in Ethereum. I'll save the proportions, and now there's a 50-50 split. Notice, though, right here, the actual payout proportions. What we've set are the target proportions. The actual proportions in this case differ from the target proportions because actual proportions are calculated about every 5 minutes from the system. So your changes will be active in your actual earnings in about 5 minutes. But other things that can affect the actual proportions are whether coins are in error. Let's take a look at how you could figure out whether a coin is in error. And to do that, you will click on the status button, scroll down to coin status, and then look at the status text where the mouse pointer is. So these coins here are all green, which means that there's no errors. But there are some that are in error, so I'll just scroll down a little more. And here are some coins that are currently in error. Anon is one of those coins, so I'll click it. And you can see that by hovering over the status, among other reasons, the reason this coin is in error is because all exchanges have at least one error. And that's clearly visible down here. There's no exchanges that are enabled because none of them are allowing withdrawals. If I return to the payouts page, had I entered Anon in my list of payouts, then I would have seen that the actual proportions would always be 0 for Anon, and the other coins would always be having Anon's proportion distributed across them. That's why there are actual proportions, because sometimes we can't get a price for a coin, or there's a daemon error, or the network has problems, so we need to issue payouts in a different coin, and we will first try to pay out in the remaining coins that have non-zero proportions. But if, unfortunately, all of the coins that you've requested don't have non-zero proportions, then you'll have to go to a backup coin. And the system allows the specification of a backup coin by clicking on the backup coin tab down at the bottom of the payouts page. In this case, Litecoin is already my backup coin. I'll just click change and you'll see that it says backup coin changed. And had it not been my backup coin already, you would have seen a new coin added here with a payout proportion of 0. And that's why we have a payout proportion of 0 for Litecoins, because if both Bitcoin and Ethereum had errors to them, and of course that's very unlikely because Bitcoin and Ethereum are large coins, but if they both had errors, then 100% of the payouts would be set to the backup coin, which in this case is Litecoin. That's how backup coins work. One unfortunate fact in today's world is transaction fees. And network transaction fees have actually become very high. For Ethereum, for example, I can edit this payout option. You'll see that the transaction fees for yesterday's payouts were $6.94 for one person for one payout. It's getting pretty high. And therefore, there is a minimum payout amount of $23.59 at the time of this writing, but it could change depending on network conditions, and a maximum threshold of $1,000, which is the amount that Prohashing is willing to hold before forcing a payout. We have to have this minimum because the minimum has to be well above twice the network fee. That's because $6.94 would be lost in sending the transaction to you, and then you would have to spend another $6.94 to re-spend the money to somewhere else. Otherwise, it would be what's called dust. So that is just a network limitation that we can't work around. However, you can get a free payout if you set your payout threshold to above 0.42 or so ETH at the time of this writing. It may change in the future. Let's suppose that I want payouts every 0.1 ETH. So I will change the payout threshold to 0.1. It calculates that 0.1 at the time of this writing was worth about $235. And then I'll click save. Now, assuming I didn't change anything, every time my payout amount for ETH rose above $235, then I would be charged $6.94 and a payout be sent. Note that if I had just kept the payout threshold at the default of $1,000, then I would not have been charged anything and would receive free payouts at that time. One way to cut these fees for some coins that support it is to use Coinbase payouts. Coinbase is an exchange that supports buying and selling of coins. It's based in San Francisco. And it also has a ledger, kind of like a bank. At a bank, think about how you take money to a bank, and the bank has a large safe, and everybody's money is put in the safe. And then there's a database that says this person's account has so many dollars, and this person's account has so many dollars, and so on. Coinbase is like that, just that they have huge wallets, and they state that this person's this person's account has this much, and this person's account has that much, and so on. Therefore, because Coinbase isn't actually sending transactions on the network, then there are no transaction fees sending money between accounts on Coinbase. And if you connect your Coinbase account, then Prohashing can take advantage of that and not charge you fees for any amount of Bitcoin payouts or other coins as they're supported in the future. To connect your Coinbase account, click on Coinbase Options, then connect with Coinbase, and then enter in your Coinbase credentials to log into Coinbase and grant permission for this action. I'm not going to do that here because our account is already being used for payouts. But when you do enter Coinbase credentials, then you'll be able to click on Bitcoin, for example, and check the Send Payouts to Coinbase Account checkbox, and that will then cause Prohashing to send payouts to you daily to your Coinbase account with no fees. You may at some point or another find that you want to issue a balance forfeiture, and that would be when you decide that there's just dust of some balance or some coin that was discontinued. You don't really care about that, and you just want to be rid of it from this screen and move on with your other earnings. So let's take a look at this particular account. You'll notice that all of the balances here are updating live. So the first thing to point out is that our actual proportions, which notice before were at 100% Bitcoins and 0% Ethereum, are now at 50-50. And we also have earned 0.59 or 0.00 whatever 59 ETH because a miner that's mining in the basement of this house has caused Ethereum to be earned. So that's a very small amount of ETH. Let's say I plan to stop mining right now and to change my payout proportions. So I just want to get rid of the ETH. And one way to do that would be to click forfeit. But first, I need to change my target proportions for Ethereum to 0. So I will save the current proportions. Then I can click forfeit. And it will ask if I really want to do this. And then I can click forfeit to forfeit the Ethereum. So I will do that. And now it's gone. And I am back to earning 100% Bitcoins. I'm going to re-add the Ethereum right now because I want to demonstrate another feature in a minute, and I'm going to need this Ethereum address. So I'm going to enter it back in and click save. And then I'm going to change my payout proportions back to 50-50 for the next step. Now, let's talk a little bit about portfolio targeting. Portfolio targeting is a unique feature for Prohashing. I don't believe that any other pools offer portfolio targeting, and it allows customers to really take advantage of market changes to earn coins when they are worth their least. And here's why that's important. I can click on earning method, and the constant earning method is a default, which, as we've just shown, means that I would currently earn 50-50 Bitcoin Ethereum as a split right now, no matter what other circumstances there are, as long as no coins are in . But portfolio targeting would allow me to balance a portfolio of 50-50 Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's great if you see coins as an investment and want to always have an equal amount of Bitcoins and Ethereum, or whatever other proportions you may desire. I'm going to state that I want to look back 180 days, and I'll preview what my earnings would be. Notice that if I look back 180 days here, this particular account had earned in dollar value 0.22% Bitcoin Cash, 0.05% Ethereum, and so on. You can read the rest of the list here. The target proportions, as we've entered here, are 50% Ethereum and 50% Bitcoin. Notice that these differ from the past earnings proportions. And that might be because I changed my payout proportions, or because the value of the coins has risen or fallen over these past 180 days. So if I want to always have a portfolio that consists of 50% Ethereum, we obviously need to earn a lot more, because I only have a portfolio of 0.05% over the past 180 days. And if I enable portfolio targeting by clicking save, then what will happen is that my current target will now cause me to earn Ethereum almost exclusively until my Ethereum balance over the past 180 days, according to dollars, is 50%. I might earn a few Bitcoins once my past earnings proportion of Bitcoins falls below 50. But really, I'm going to earn Ethereum to get that portfolio value up to 50-50. Now, let's say, for example, that while I'm doing that, the value of Bitcoins really crashes, but Ethereum stays the same. Well, now I'm going to earn a lot of Bitcoins because, again, we're not earning that 50-50 constant earnings. We're earning that based on the previous portfolio value. And why this is really great is that it's possible to get coins when they're worth their least. Prohashing will pay you earnings of bitcoins when bitcoins are very low, so you get more bitcoins. And then when Ethereum drops and your portfolio needs to get more Ethereum, then you get credited Ethereum at its low point. And in the long run, as these coins appreciate, you're earning more coins in your portfolio of each type compared to if you had just earned constant earnings. Portfolio targeting is very powerful, and it allows you to earn more coins in the end compared to if you just had earned a constant portfolio, a constant earnings method over that same length of time. I also want to talk a little bit about charities and tip earnings. If I click on Add New Payout option, then I could choose to earn money for a good cause. In this case, for this example, I will choose Give Directly. Give Directly is a charity that actually gives money directly to people in impoverished areas. Right now, they're focusing on Africa, but they also give money to places in Asia. And that's simply because studies have shown that one of the best ways to bring people out of poverty is to directly give money to them. And if I believe in Give Directly's mission, then I could click Save here to add Give Directly to my payout proportions. Let's say that I want to donate 2% of my profits to Give Directly. I will save my payout proportions, and now 2% of my earnings are being donated to a good cause, giving money directly to people who need it. We encourage all of our customers to read more about all of the charities in the documentation and to choose a cause that they would like to help, because it's really a good thing to help out those in need. Also, if you want to help out one of our employees who you feel has done a great job, then you can select a tip to those employees. Stephen Godshall, who I've highlighted here, works behind the scenes on a lot of things that you probably don't see, like adding payout coins and making sure that the system doesn't crash and functions properly. And he's making sure everything is stable at all times. Whereas Vance right now has really focused his efforts on all of the pretty website that you do see. If Vance makes great changes that you appreciate, then feel free to give him a tip. And tips, again, are just like charities. You can add a tip, give a percentage to that person, even down to tenths of a percent. And even if you give Vance 0.1%, then he would really see that and appreciate that you're seeing his hard work in action. The owners of the business do not accept tips. We feel that others should accept tips for their work. Let's tie this all together now that you've seen all of the different payout options and look at how that's going to be taken together in your payout activity chart. So that is on the balances page, and that will summarize everything that we've shown here. So I will scroll down to payout activity, and you can see that I just forfeited my Ethereum, so that's listed here and results in a negative balance. This is an Ethereum forfeiture I did during a rehearsal for this video. These are some earnings of all the coins that I earned. So this Bitcoin Cash had been earned in a previous rehearsal when I was setting Bitcoin Cash as a payout option. I had continued to earn Litecoin many days before this and Bitcoins, and on April 18th, I earned $4.70 worth of Bitcoins. And then you can also see that I have Litecoins here that were paid out, and they were paid in this transaction. So if you're wondering where your Litecoins went to, well, here's the destination. And if you want to see the transaction to see where it was confirmed, what block, I can click on the transaction here. And this is Prohashing's Block Explorer. And I can scroll down to the transaction and look at all of the outputs from this pool payout. And these are all the people who were paid that day. And your address is likely listed in this payout, in this list of payout addresses. And if I want to export this data from the payout activity table to show what I've earned over all this time. For accounting purposes, I can choose export. I can choose to export monthly or yearly, choose the year I want and the month, and choose export. And then I'll receive a comma-separated value spreadsheet that contains all the payout activity data. So that's all we have for the advanced payout options video. Just to review, we talked a little bit about coin errors and how it's important to set a backup coin in case the preferred coins go into error and can't be paid. We described network fees, how fees have become a problem for some of the largest networks, but how Coinbase payouts can assist with fees and how you can use the free payout threshold to your advantage. How to forfeit balances if you want to get rid of dust that's in your account. How charities and tips work and how you can really help out some great causes. How portfolio targeting allows you to multiply your earnings by, instead of earning constant earnings, instead getting coins when they're at their lowest to earn more coins in the end. And finally, how the payout activity chart brings everything together and records in the database what you earned, when you earned it, and any other actions that you took. That's all we have for this video. Keep checking out our advanced series as we post additional videos, and thanks for mining with us.